Hey, so happy to be joined by the author and cartographer of this new book, Boston in 50 Maps. Andy Woodruff is here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
First impression people might think historically of the landmass, how it changed with all the fill of Boston and the changing roads and streets, but it's so much more than this. This is a ton of different data points. It's pop culture in many respects. This is fascinating. What are some of the maps that people might find in here?
Yeah, well, there definitely is that historical thing, and it's really, if you're making maps about Boston, it's tempting to make only those maps of Boston over history because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It's about modern day Boston. It's about the shape of the land, the roads, how to get around, the people who live here, the communities, but also a lot of just kind of fun, culturally relevant maps. You know, the things that make Bostonians celebrate Boston. I've tried to represent in map form in this book.
It's so cool because I have always enjoyed maps, the physical hard copy maps, because more than directions, they give you a sense of space and place.
Yes.
And I think you do this so well in this, not only dating some of, the firsts in our country in infrastructure, which you circle on maps, but also access to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Was that your idea?
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a book about Boston without, something about Dunkin' Donuts. So
yeah.
Over some years, we've been trying to come up with what's the best way to map the Dunkin' landscape, not just where they are, but how accessible are they to people, and how many dunks per square per 1,000 people or something like that.
It is amazing. Yeah, and every page is a visual map, and then a little bit of a little blurb about it.
Right.
So you're not getting overly wonky and too in depth. You're letting people look at the data and kind of consume it. How did you strike that balance?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to cover a lot of ground topic-wise, as you know, and not get too detailed. We want this to be something that's interesting to look at, but not too boring. So the idea is there's a map, and hopefully it's about something interesting, and you can look at this map and learn a little bit from it. And my hope is that you would then, if you're interested in learning more, use that map as a jumping off point to go learn more about it, and the text as well. Nothing's too deep, going to drag you down, but I'm hoping presents some new and interesting things to people who...
It is so cool. And in a lot of ways, you're having fun with the city.
Yeah.
Here's one about city squares. Some of our terrible intersections you highlight here. It's fun. It must have been a fun process.
It is fun, yeah. And I've been, for years, learning about Boston myself by mapping it. So this is really, interesting to me to just make these maps, and by making the maps I also learn about the place and find really things that are fun like that.
Did you have any discoveries along the way?
Yeah, you know what, you mentioned that squares one there and the crazy intersections, right?
Yeah.
As more and more as I started staring at maps of Boston and making maps of Boston, it all kind of started to make sense. So weirdly, the confusing layout of the city started to make sense to me, and I don't know, you might count that as a discovery. It's not weird and chaotic. It kind of has a organic order to it that...
All of what you're saying speaks to me. I was out for my Walking Boston that I do on Instagram the other day, and there's a street, Arlington Street in Brighton, where the sidewalk at one point doubles up on both sides of the street. It looks like a terrible job by DPS, but it wasn't. Arlington Street used to just end and then was continued on 30 years later, and so that's where that imperfection in the street was. So there's always a story behind some incongruity.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the seemingly chaotic web of streets downtown kind of has a reason that it is like that.
Yeah.
It has to do with the early history of Boston, but...
Yeah. Oh, this is so cool. Do you have a favorite one?
My favorite, it's a very simple one, but it is a map that shows the events in Make Way for Ducklings, which is, of course, a very celebrated Boston story. But I think it might be because I have children now who are the age that enjoy that book. So it was really fun to kind of plot that on a map.
It's so cool. I ran across it, and he gives you a visual representation of where Mama Duck and her ducklings went down through the base of Beacon Hill to the public garden. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, so how do people get their hands on one of these? It's a great book as a gift, perfect coffee table book, just to flip through or take a deep dive.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's out in bookstores now. Some local bookstores have it. It's also available online through various retailers or the publisher. You can certainly look it up and you'll find it, I think.
Oh my gosh, and I can't wait for more. But this is the best.
Thanks so much.
Andy Woodruff, Boston in 50 Maps. Thanks so much for
Thank
stopping
you,
by.
Chris.
Yeah.